Breakfast at Tiffany's is probably the definitive Audrey Hepburn film. Hepburn debatably has done better work, but it is Tiffany's which she is iconic for. In the long black dress, the image of Hepburn is world famous. Even without the iconic status, Tiffany's is still a very good film. Based on Truman Capotes' novel, the film is directed by Blake Edwards and stars Audrey Hepburn as the socialite gold-digging Holly. She's a confused and conflicted woman who makes her living as a prostitute. Though this is never mentioned in the film, it is most certainly implied. She also makes her living by going to a prison each week where she meets an ex-mobster for a weather report. Holly lives alone with a cat that is called Cat, a very original and creative name for a cat. This is until Paul Barjack enters her life. He is a young, struggling writer who makes money in the same way that Holly does. Initially friends, you see their friendship and eventual romance blossom throughout the film. Breakfast at Tiffany's also has some very good acting, such as Hepburn, who is excellent as always. Her character, Holly, has some very unlikable traits, but she is able to turn her into a very likable, charming lady. Holly is in fact a phony. Her sophistication is all but an act. In reality, she comes from very humble beginnings. As a small-town country girl, even her voice is a lie. Her voice is really a southern country hick voice. It's been smoothed out to sound more elegant, to match the elegance of her beauty. That being said, I can't imagine a country hick voice coming out of Hepburn. Same goes for Paul. He has some very unlikable traits about him too, but like with Holly, is very likable. You can tell that he really does care for her. Surprisingly, the author wanted Marilyn Monroe to play the role as Holly, but it's hard to imagine anyone else but Hepburn playing the role. Tiffany's also contains some highly memorable side characters. This includes the humble, warm-hearted Doc, Paul's client, and the highly controversial Mr. Yunioshi. Mr. Yunioshi is portrayed by Mickey Rooney. He is the owner of Holly and Paul's apartment. His character is for comedic relief, but his character is also the dark spot of the film. For a film with glamorous charm, all glamour is lost. Yunioshi is a racist stereotype of Japanese people. An angry, bubbling Asian whose irritating chipmunk buck teeth are so sorely jumping out at you it's hard not to ignore. Not only is the obvious stereotype racist, but the fact that the producers were too lazy to get an actual Japanese actor for the role, or at least someone Asian, not a white man. It's like blackface but with Asians. It's not like there were any Japanese actors lacking for the role either. Setsu Hayakawa, who was in The Bridge of the River Kwai, could have played the role, and it wouldn't have stuck out as much as it did. I guess it's a reflection of the time. The film is still a good enough experience, however, to get over the racist elements. An obvious flaw that does bring it down, but good enough film to ignore. The chemistry between Hepburn and Barjack in this film is very good, with a thorough, genuine romantic atmosphere between the two main characters. Without it, a romance film can easily fall apart. Films such as Star Wars: Attack of the Clones and Twilight are obvious examples of how a romance film can fail miserably. Breakfast at Tiffany's has some very good humour with it. Witty, clever characters, such as Holly's agent and of course the cat, who in today's world, if the film was released, would be a legend on the internet. The cat truly does steal the show, and is my personal favourite character. The film contains a very nice, gentle, lovely score that gently flows throughout the entire film, from the iconic opening scene to the feel-good ending, when Holly finally realises who she really is. Hepburn's wardrobe is unsurprisingly classy. A fashion icon, the film helped cement this for her. Breakfast at Tiffany's may be iconic for the black dress, and for Hepburn, but it is genuinely a good film. Tiffany's gets an A from me. Not as good as Gone with the Wind or Casablanca when it comes to the romance gene, but a classic nonetheless, and a very good one. Thanks guys, and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.